Hello and welcome to the second part of the UCL review quarterfinals. And we've got like few matches I think we thought were done and dusted. And one actually came to be like that. One team actually went on to dominate surprisingly, and they actually turned up. And the other
Was it
team,
was it really surprising?
I mean, never in the terms of talent or something. I've been even that their fans are like kind of skeptical because they've been at that position and like as recently as last season and like just because of mentality they didn't get through.
Fair.
And yeah, so we are talking none other than Arsenal versus Real Madrid and PSG versus Aston Villa. And would we be able to see a new champion this time? A new champion, first time. I mean, these teams have been going in and on for like a long time, reaching the latter stages of the UCL, reaching final. To PSG to a lesser extent, probably, but Arsenal to a larger extent because their claim of being a bigger team or a big club has always been tainted by the fact that they have never won the Champions League. And PSG also, their claim, okay, that they are a contender, is always been tainted by the fact that how much ever money they've spent, whatever things they did, they never went on to actually win the competition, despite like completely decimating French football, buying all the star players as much as possible, playing insanely absurd wages. And yeah, so both teams have something to prove. And coming to the first game, I think the game which I think everybody predicted was over, and it ended up exactly like that. And yeah, we are coming to Arsenal versus Real Madrid in the Bernabeu. Sir, would you like to start?
Yes, of course, I would like to start. Not to rub salt into the wounds of Real Madrid fans and all of that. My biggest beef is this has happened again. I'm not saying that clubs don't do this. Barcelona also randomly hypes up games and then they go get thumped by people and come back. But if not the club, the individual players are hyping it up. Bellingham saying the most used word in our dressing room this past week is a remontada, and this and that and that and this. And then you go and give a performance like that. I don't know what the heck you're hyping up yourself for. Vinicius Junior after that first goal was like, "Ooh, what, you won the Ballon d'Or, a World Cup, or what did you win? You
No,
are trying
every
to come back." And that too, he scored in the 67th minute as a reply to Bukayo Saka. It's not that
oh my God.
he it's not that they were making their way back into the game. No, it was not like the aggregate was 3-1 at that point. By that time, the score was already 4-0. Then you
Yeah.
scored, it became 4-1. Why the heck are you celebrating like you're just on the cusp of winning the UCL or something? I see that's a team full of superstars, and the talent in that team cannot be understated, and you can never underestimate a team like that. You can never count them out, and that's a matter of fact. But again, I would refer you back to go back to watch our La Liga video. We have told that these issues will happen. Everyone has foreseen these issues
Yep.
happening. Everyone saw that this is going to happen, and they again, anyone who you thought are star players and they should be turning up and should be performing in crunch situations like this, big games like this, all of them went missing. And when all of the talent that you are hyping up so much, all of the talent you are pinning your hopes on, because usually I think that's just a Spanish team thing, because even Barcelona does that, even Atletico does that. Even if everything else is failing, they have these few star players on whose backs, on whose brilliance they win games, and I think that's just a Spanish thing. But Real has so many of these players, and all of them ghosted. All of them ghosted over two legs. And it's not only these two legs, I think this whole UCL campaign has been bad in general. They have not, because when Mbappe was going there, we were like, oh my god, that is a super team. And that is
Mhm.
genuinely a super team.
On
And
paper.
somehow after Mbappe coming there, that team is much worse. It's significantly worse than it was last season. I mean, yeah, last season, yes, you had Jose Lu, who was an unsung hero because he was good at finishing whatever came at his feet. And in general, Cruz was there. The team seemed a little bit more settled. Lunin had a masterclass. So whole of last season, they were not at their best, but still they were much better team than now. And
as a team, yes.
exactly. So again, individual players might drag you some places, but teams win you competitions, teams win you championships and leagues. And based on how things are going, it doesn't seem like they're going to win the Spanish league either, and Champions League is done anyway. So I don't know, somehow with Mbappe in the team, both PSG was bad, now Real is bad. Is the problem with the team? Is the problem with the player? Is the problem with the manager? Is it the ego? Is it the money they are paying? Is it the hype he's getting? I don't know what the issue is, but there is clearly an issue with teams that have Mbappe in it. I'm not saying Mbappe is not a good player. He's a phenomenal player, and I have never liked him. I've never liked him at all, but I can't deny the fact that he is a generational talent. And people don't realize this. See, in my mind, Neymar is still a 17-year-old because that's when I have been following him from. He's 33, 34 now. And for people who don't realize this, you have to wake up to the fact that Mbappe is 26 years old. He is 26 years old and he's not done anything at club level that would say, okay, my God, this guy is a football talent. Of course, he's achieved major things with the French national team and is a major contributor to how well that team plays and all of that. But at a club level, he's still not there.
Especially in European stage, yes.
I mean, even in the league stage, he was at PSG and that team was anyway winning everything. I'm not discounting the fact that league titles are hard and all of that. I'm not disrespecting the league, but I'm just saying, if you are that hyped, if you're that big of generational talent, if you're getting 100 million as a signing bonus, and these are the kind of games that you're supposed to win. These are the kind of games that prove how big of a player you are, and then you're ghosting. And it's not that he's not used to pressure. He performed. He scored a hat-trick in the bloody World Cup final. So it's not alien to him playing under pressure like that. That time he represented his country. This is still a club, and he has no personal connection to that club. So it's not that he's not used to that pressure. I don't know what it is. There's nothing that explains how. And again, I'm only talking about Mbappe, but I can say the same about Bellingham for that reason, for Vinicius for that reason. It applies to all of them.
To extent, there was too much in their head. I mean, there's so much times you get out of jail, card works for you, and it was proving too much. Like not every time it was going to happen, and some delusional was going on. I mean, I leave the fans in like that. The delusion should not be going into the players' head. They should be more realistic. Okay, so not like some magic will happen. And to some extent, I don't know what if closing the stadium down. Right? I understand all these things are here, but try to be more realistic. I mean, you are nowhere near as good as what you were when you won the UCS or when you did those comebacks that those teams. And your bench or starting lineup was much like more cohesive as a team, and they've played together so well. I mean compared to this year. So try removing the delusion out of it and be more realistic, because you're not the same.
And you have to think about it. It's not only that their bench strength is weak or the bench is thin and all. Their starting 11 itself is bad in my opinion. I've been saying this since the start of the season. This is not a team that you can expect to actually competitively push for titles. If you're content with if you're content with being like, okay, we are Real this season, okay, we'll write it off. This season we'll call it a gelling thing or whatever. This season was the season where the new Club World Cup is starting, and there are so many games. When you saw that the first half of the season was going shit, you had December, and you are Real Madrid. You can literally. It's not only about money. The pull of that club is so magnanimous. You can literally talk to any player.
They will be willing to come.
It's a one in a lifetime chance. Unless it's someone like Mbappe, the first drop of a hat people will come. And still you thought in December, now we're good, we're going to make it through it. That is pure delusion, not only from a managerial standpoint, player standpoint, but at the higher admin level also. You saw that this was going to happen. There were signs that this is going to happen, and you chose to ignore it, so you deserve it. You deserve it. The fans turned up in such huge numbers outside the stadium. It would have been intimidating. You imagine the Arsenal bus driving through that crowd. There were flares everywhere. The youth teams of Real Madrid gave them like a guard of honor when they were walking in. The police came on horses and escorted the team bus right from their hotel till the
Basically,
stadium.
they did everything other than playing.
Everything that they had to give the team, they gave the team, and the team gave them nothing back. Absolutely jack.
Oh, oh my God! And the curse, and hence the curse continues. Real Madrid can't beat Arsenal.
And again, neither of us have even talked about how good Arsenal were in this game. We're just talking about how bad Real were.
No discredit to this thing or something. Arsenal actually, I am actually happy at least. Okay, this is the first time I would say all the hype that was there with Arsenal, all the talk with all these players, and some players I actually disregarded actually played well, especially the likes of Saka, who I feel like okay is kind of a bit overrated because of Arsenal fans. But this season he has actually like played really well. Like whenever it mattered, he scored. Not like irrelevant games. Whenever it mattered, he played well. And players like Rice, I think Rice was always quality was there. I mean, actually, a lot of people expected Odegaard to be the leader, but Rice ended up being the most like the player that is leading the team.
Right
And
now, yes, yeah.
right now, and even the defense, like most of these players, outside of Arsenal, we are not like very aware of how very young players. If you look at the entire, because all are young players or team players that are about to like what you call towards like closing towards the beginning of their prime or some sort of like that. So it's very very young defense, and team as a whole is very young as well. And so overall there was a more cohesion in that team, and finally it's clicking for Arsenal at a big stage. And now it's time to prove, and what better opponent they have right now against a team that is trying to do literally the same thing with a very young team, and have never won the competition. So it is going to be like very interesting, like what turns out in that match. As it is going to be a tactical this thing, to some extent these two teams play like similar brand of football.
Yeah,
Like
both the
very
managers have a similar philosophy of
similar
executing.
philosophy. So would we get to see like something like it goes down to the individual quality of the players, or like certain flashes of brilliance, we never know, or will we get to see an open match? I would personally, as a neutral, would like to see an open match full on, like both teams are going for the kill rather
And I
than
think
like
that is what is going to happen. I don't think this is going to be one of those Pep Guardiola kind of a chess move kind of a
KG
game at all.
matches. I would definitely. I've got. I had enough of those games. I don't want to sleep. this, yeah. So, I mean, that pretty much like sums up my take on the game.
And I see Jittu has covered all of Arsenal. I'm not going to talk about Arsenal. Credit to all of them. They literally outplayed them on the field.
On the
They
field,
didn't do any of the hype. They didn't have
anywhere.
Chat GPT translating 90 minutes at the Bernabeu was a long time. They didn't have their players posting, "Oh, you wait and see today." Nothing of that sort. Arsenal came to play the game, played the game, left it all on the field, and done. And that is what you need from a team. And again, this team I think is evolving compared to the last 2-3 seasons when they were bought. I don't want to say bottling.
This is definitely a boost, because most of the time the team that goes on to beat Real Madrid actually goes deep into the competition, like, and eventually goes to win it. And what better like mentality boost can you get after beating the most successful team, the team that is always there to win.
Self-proclaimed kings of Europe.
Kings of Europe, yeah. So, best scenario for Arsenal right now. Hopefully it doesn't get into their head, because PSG is definitely nothing like Real Madrid. That team is nothing that which Arsenal played in the league stage. Arsenal did beat PSG in the league stage quite convincingly, but that team is nothing completely different from what PSG is now.
And they have ramped up in form massively. Again,
massively, yes.
I think we can start moving on to the Aston Villa game. Here is the Aston Villa game. I'm saying this so the timestamp is easy.
Yeah, so since we are continuing from PSG, let's come to PSG. Yeah, so again, this game, we actually, like we said about the Dortmund and Barca game, we actually thought it was done and dusted, almost done. But Aston Villa, man, I don't know. Even after PSG like scored 2 goals in the first half, like literally in the first 30 minutes they scored 2 goals, and like, okay, there's no way they're going to come back. Villa is fuck you all, and like we don't care about all these things, and like we'll come back. We are going to win this game in our own stadium. And like what a game that was, like very good. I mean, if it weren't for that initial barrage from, I don't know if PSG kind of stepped off the foot pedal and like kind of chill
I,
with it.
what I felt when I was watching the game was it felt like they were not expecting that to happen.
Yeah,
It
they
was
were
like,
like,
okay,
okay.
we'll see, and then suddenly they started getting punched, but they didn't give them a break.
Yeah,
They go fought.
yeah, I guess it's down to do with probably Villa, because they're not the usual suspects you would be facing in the quarterfinals. They're like, okay, like if we push them a little bit, maybe they will not. This thing, probably
And to be fair, you
underestimation.
wouldn't expect a Villa team to come out there and push you, show the
Yeah,
mentality to come back and attack at you. Usually, you would expect teams like that to sit back
yeah,
and defend and be content with a 1-0 loss, 2-0 loss, and go home. But
yeah.
Unai Emery, man, credit where credit is due.
Oh,
Europe, this guy
everything.
has got it covered. He's the new generation's Jose Mourinho.
Oh
In
my God.
Europe, he's unmatched.
Yeah, and like few players, I would like to notably how they played. Is one thing I have to mention. Rashford, he's actually beginning to show, okay, what could have been Rashford if it weren't for his last few years in United, where he was like completely non-existent. He had a great game. I think he was heavily involved in all the goals. I think he assisted one of the goals.
I mean, Rashford has always been a good player. I think I don't know what it is with teams like United and Chelsea. I simply
Mm.
don't understand. And I'm not saying that it's only those two teams. There are a lot of other teams where some players don't fit in at all.
Yeah,
But I, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the last maybe 7-8 years I've been watching a lot of English football in addition to the Spanish league. But I
yeah,
feel like these two teams, when players leave them, they suddenly become better. Maybe it's
yeah.
because of the pressure of playing at a team like United, being called their star boy, having to burden the responsibility of dragging this club back into relevance and stuff like that. But
Mm.
again, Rashford is a good example. This guy Elanga left and he went to Nottingham Forest. He's quite good. Anthony at
Mm.
Real Betis, and I can't even exaggerate how much the Betis fans adore Anthony. That fellow genuinely
Uh,
feels like he is back
home,
home
yeah,
almost,
back
and this is
home.
just a
Yeah,
lone
so
spell.
happy. He's so happy. Like
The
I don't think
fans
he would want.
love him.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I don't know what the thing is. Maybe United, like the faithful, have been spoiled by their golden era. But right now,
mm,
I don't think that they're switching back or snapping back to reality, which they should right now.
I mean, especially after the recent game. We will not talk about this about that
I
currently
mean,
right now.
again, we'll go back to that eventually. But then again, coming back to
Manchester.
the Rashford thing, if you think
Yeah.
about it, Rashford, Ross Barkley is a Chelsea reject, Marco
Mm,
Asensio is on loan from PSG. So
God.
all of these are
Yes.
a
Yes.
makeshift thing. But
Yeah.
in spite of these players, I mean, even if you take these players off, the team showed the resolve to fight. They were not like we're going to sit back and take it. They're like, if we
Yeah.
lose, we'll lose, but we will try. We will not go
We
home
we we
with regrets.
without, yeah, we will at least for our dignity will play. Like we're not any pushover. I think Villa has managed to do that throughout this UCL season, and same time managing to do well in the league also for a team that is not usually used to playing like so many games, especially in the year in which the number of games are like skyrocketing. And to do that, like very well team management, again credits to Emery and the players cooperating with us. And overall, I guess it was an entertaining game to watch. But then
It was.
I think what the failure to actually like create something significant in the first game came to haunt. I mean, it's fine measures anyway. Again, when I talked about the Inter and Bayern game, like those could have been or should have been. These things will not matter in, let's say, on a league season, but these things will matter
We're not
in
a
a
cup competition.
competition, especially in UCL. And yeah, I think that decided the game. And overall, like this was like one of the like the ties which we actually what do you call, expected PSG to completely dominate to some extent, but
Exactly. You
then
look at PSG's lineup. I'm so sorry
yeah,
for cutting you off. You put the player for player, you put one against each other. Where
yeah,
does anyone stand a chance against a front line of Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Bracola and
yeah,
Desire Doué coming in, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinha in the midfield, the defense having a solid person like Marquinhos, the pace of Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. How would anyone cope for that matter? And these guys are like this, brother. This is how we cope. See, if it was Barcelona facing them, I'm pretty sure we would lose. I'm
yeah.
100% sure we would lose. We can't cope, especially with that Highland. We can't cope. But Villa, if they were asked the question, how do you deal with these people, and they just showed like this. They're not sitting back. It's not waiting. It's just
You have
saying
to
we
push
will
them.
do it. We will just do it.
You have to
And
push them like.
despite PSG being organized so well, like exactly how you said, like push
Hmm.
them. Once you started hitting them with pressure, suddenly that sense of organization and calm that they had
Came down.
started feeling like it's crumbling slowly. And once these people realized, oh, we are getting under their skin, they started just pushing. And that is exactly what you need to do to a team that is well organized like this. You
Organized,
can't
yeah.
allow them to stay in their comfort zone and stay organized. You have
Yeah.
to break them down.
That's
Have to.
like have to break them. I mean, yeah, only like very rarely if you like fully defense and you achieve things that only works like teams like, let's say, Atletico and all, who have like perfectly mastered
Yeah.
like just defending and just waiting for one chance and do like that.
Atleti, Inter.
Yeah, even Inter, like not to that much extent, but the perfect example of that would be Atletico. Inter also, they do show an intent to attack. Athletic is like once we like have a goal of defending, you just defend. They
And
don't
that
care.
Atleti also, when they set up like that, no, I mean, we are
Yeah,
completely going off topic here, but it's interesting. Atleti, when
yeah,
they set up to defend, they will let you press. They will soak
yeah,
up that pressure. And once
yeah.
you are tired, then they'll start attacking.
They just start
And when
attacking.
they start attacking, you can't keep up because their midfield and forwards are mad fast. Then they're
Yeah,
so good on the ball.
yeah,
Somehow, in that first 45 minutes, 60 minutes, 70 minutes also, they'll soak. Whatever
yeah,
you throw, they'll sit back, take.
yeah.
And
They
when they
just need
see
that
you're
one chance.
tired,
Yeah, go
they
for
don't
the
even
kill.
wait for chances. This was exemplified in 2019 or 2020 when they played at Anfield in
Mm.
Liverpool.
Yeah, yeah,
They took it everywhere, whatever happened. And in the last 30 minutes, they scored 4 goals, turned that tie upside down. That is like the prime example of what Atletico can do. I mean, there are many other games, but this is the
yeah,
game that immediately came to my mind. Like they took it, absorbed it, and when they realized, okay, these guys are slowly fading, and they hit. Didn't matter that they had all these big people on field. They had the best keeper at that time and the best defense at that time in the
yeah.
whole world. They just broke them down like they were nothing, and they were the previous season's Champions League winners.
Obviously, defending champions and not many changes. Yeah, so a little bit of off topic, but then good information for us. Yeah, so I mean that pretty much is about the PSG and Villa game, and
I mean, again, we have to go to our predictions.